High control religions produce high control and militant parents. And these parents belong to a religious group that uses manipulation and fear and strict rules to really dominate the lives and the thoughts and the emotions of people within the congregation. And then those parents raise children using that same manipulation and fear and strict set of rules. And they often justify violence and harm and guilt tripping against their own children. And when you belong to a religion where you don't have any control, I guess I can understand how you would then overly control your children, because what else do you really have to control? And that then results in children who believe that their existence is inherently shameful and piss poor self esteem and the inability to advocate for themselves and passive aggressive people pleasers who have never really had to exist on their own as an individual. And they have this inability to be self sufficient and this difficulty really finding themselves. And I know grown adults who have never really had to exist on their own terms. And even if you were to ask them, what do you want life to look like? They will regurgitate a lot of the things they grew up hearing as opposed to an answer that is more authentic and reflective of the life that they truly want to live. And sometimes it upsets me then when the conversation on physical discipline come up, which has been on my timeline, where I'll hear people say like, oh, well, I was hit growing up and I turned out fine. And did you? Because I feel like the conflict avoiding people pleaser in you who has yet to decenter their parents would say otherwise. And it also saddens me when I hear people justify violence against anyone, and especially children, but at the same time it also makes sense because you probably grew up hearing the story of Abraham and Isaac, and when he was about to kill his son, you were just like, wow, what a great show of faith. And it's also hard after leaving the church to be able to see that from the outside looking in, but knowing it's not really a lot that you can do or say, because oftentimes when people belong to religious groups, they believe that their struggling is something that was deserved or earned because of something that they did, or struggling is something that is just the way of the world or a result of like this flesh and blood body that we live in. And you can't really argue with someone when they're deeply committed. And I feel like starting to deconstruct is really one of those things where it happens on your own terms. And it's really, I don't necessarily think it's something that somebody can push you into. And I don't know, it's just kind of wild to reflect on.